Hi, I'm Ryan Cunningham with DIY Painting and Refinishing, and in this video, we're going to be going over how to repaint trim. As you can see, we've got some incredible artwork, but it's time to cover this artwork up and give them a fresh coat of paint on their trim and their walls, and we're going to start with the trim, so let's get going. Trim only requires a few basic tools. We're going to need tape to tape off the floor. We're going to need caulk to caulk the line between the trim and the wall to make sure there's no gaps. We're going to need a brush. We're going to need a mud knife to press our tape down, and I've got some kills here to just cover up some marker areas on my walls and trim that would have potential bleed through. And other than that, we're going to be using Insulex cabinet coat. This is trim and cabinet paint that you can find on Amazon. It's a wonderful product. We just started using it and really enjoy it. So the first step we're going to do is get everything cleaned off really good. I'm just going to take a slightly damp rag, and as you can see, we have some years worth of dirt and grime here, and I want to get my floor cleaned off really good so that when I tape it, I can get nice adhesion and don't get bleed through coming in under that paint. So I'm just going to go through my trim, clean off that top lip. And then I'm going to go back and wipe down the floor so that my tape gets that nice adhesion like we were talking about. All right, so the first step we're going to do is just tape off the floor. And with my wood floor, this is going to be really easy. I'm going to take my tape and get a nice straight cut so that I can start this right in the corner. Start it with your finger over in here, and then just keep your tape butted right up to the wall, or to the trim, excuse me. Then as you pull out more, roll your tape backwards, push it against the wall, and you'll get a nice perfect edge everywhere as you roll this down. And with a little practice, you can actually get pretty fast with this. As we come up to a corner, I'm going to lift the tape up, just kind of go slowly, get it ready with my fingers, go all the way to that wall. Then I'm going to take my, what is this, 2.5 inch knife, press that tape right in there, and get a nice clean sharp edge. Now as I go back, I'm going to use my knife and just lightly press that tape down so that any little bubbles get pressed. And go over with my fingers and make sure that knife gets the edge nice and tight so that no paint bleeds through under that tape and gets on my floor. So I'm just adding in a second row of tape. The second row of tape is just going to protect me when I'm brushing so I don't accidentally get any paint onto my floor. If you're doing trim over carpet, the only difference you're going to do is when I go over carpet, I'll show you an example here. Let's pretend this is carpet. I'm going to actually put my tape up onto, I don't know if you can see that good here, I'm going to almost put it up onto the trim a little bit. I'm going to go with my knife and I'm going to tuck it down and under the trim. It's kind of hard to explain without carpet, but I have a bunch of kids and pets, so we have no carpet in our house. But what you want to do is you don't want to put it right next to the trim. You don't want your tape next to the trim because you'll get that paint that comes down under your tape and it will get on the edge of your carpet. So if you kind of let that tape ride up your trim, then use your knife to tuck it down, you'll take the carpet and tuck the tape under and it'll hold it into place. So I don't expect marker on your trim to be a normal thing that normal people run into, but you may have something that bleeds through. Can of Kills Original, just to spot prime those areas, is going to prevent any bleed through coming into your top coat. Maybe it's old tannins coming through from oak wood. Maybe you're in a kitchen and a little bit of grease got on there, that'll bleed through. Or maybe you have insane twins that have expressed their artistic talents all over your walls. And that's all. This should dry in about 5 minutes. So the next step we're going to be doing here is sanding all the trim down. The reason for this is we want to just scuff this old coat. It's got years worth of dirt, debris, everything on it. We want to clean that off a little bit better, and we want to scuff up that surface so that our next coat can bond to it properly. Getting a good caulk job done has a lot to do with your caulk gun, but also with the tip that you're going to cut on your caulk. So if you just snap this off, if you put this in the caulk gun, which has a little tip cutter right here, you're going to end up with a big fat hole on the end of the caulk gun, and it's just going to shoot caulk everywhere. You're going to have a mess, and you're going to waste 3/4 of your caulk. So what I do is I take a razor blade, and I'm just going to shave this tip down until I just start to see the hole up here. I'm going to get just a tiny bit more off until I get that. And then I'm going to take the edges, I'm going to shave them down just a little bit too on either side. And now what that's going to do for me, as I get this shape just how I want it, if I go too far, I'm going to ruin that hole there. But it's going to shape the tip of this so that it fits nicely right into that 90-degree angle between the trim and the wall. And if I get that to fit just right, I can get that bead looking so good that I barely need to wipe it or anything when I caulk this here. So this wood doesn't really need caulk, but if you could see, it may not show on the camera, there's starting to be a little bit of gap here as the house has shifted a little bit. And we definitely have a crack right where these two boards meet here in the corner. And that's something I want to get rid of. Also, if there are any nail holes that got missed before, I'm repainting, and this is old, it's kind of beat up. But if there are any nail holes, I can caulk them, wipe them smooth. But now, because I shaped the tip of my caulk good, I can run this in here and I can get a really tight, fine strip of caulk that typically you're going to want to use a wet rag or something, but if you get your caulk just perfect, it's a very simple wipe that has almost no waste. You can see that. So as I go here, and then I'm going to hit this corner. Corner is a little bit bigger. I'm going to clean up that corner. I'm going to wipe through here. And you can see that on the camera, I've got just nothing on my finger. Still a little rag is probably the best way to go. If you're not getting that clean of a caulk bead coming out, you're getting a big fat messy one, a wet rag works beautifully to smooth that out. You just have to wash it out every now and then. But as you get control over it, that almost renders the rag technique useless. For this project, we're going to be top coating with Insulex cabinet coat. We've got a review of this on DIYpaintingtips.com. If you want to read a little bit more in depth about what we think of it, why we started using it, why we like it, and other products we like Benjamin Moore Advance. You can find all that and more at DIYpaintingtips.com. If you're wondering, I am not priming this. This has been previously top coated. So this used to be oak. Oak has a lot of tannins that bleed through. When I painted this, when we first moved into this house a decade ago or so, we definitely primed it. What that primer does, it's going to block the tannins and just help adhere to the oak so that the top coat can adhere. And as you can see, we had no peeling issues or anything. We just had a kid's room that got absolutely abused over the years. So all I need to do now is top coat. And if I'm comfortable with one coat, if it looks good, I may not even do a second coat. But this, by cleaning it and sanding it, this top coat will bond to the old top coat perfectly fine. There's absolutely no need for a primer. I like to use a 2.5-inch brush. I've got an old Worcester that is years old. This is a nice brush. I've used it for a long time. I like Worcester, Purdy, but 2.5 inches tends to be a great width brush for painting trim. So I'm just going to start in the corner here. And as you can see, most trim fits under that 2.5-inch brush. One nice easy stroke here. As I'm painting this, I want nice, long, even strokes. I don't want a bunch of back and forth strokes. I want nice, long, even. I just want to point out that we absolutely let the paint go up onto the wall. I'm never going to tape off the wall to try to get that. Even if the wall was finished, I'm in the belief that it's going to always look better by just taping off that trim and painting the wall afterwards. And this is looking absolutely fine to me for one coat in a kid's room. If I was painting a different room, I might debate a second coat, but I don't think my kids are going to care about a second coat in here. There we go. Well, thanks for watching, and make sure to click and subscribe, and join us for our next video where we're going to be covering how to paint walls.